Hi everyone, welcome back to the ShortStoryPodcast.com, where you hear a fast-paced short story and get a quick writing tip afterward. I'm your host, J.B. Wachowski. At the end of this podcast, I have a special announcement to make. This week's short story is by G. Allen Wilbanks. He's the author of over 80 published short stories and his novel, When Darkness Comes. In this week's post and YouTube description are some links to his writings and his books. Every Halloween, we anxiously await the sounds of trick-or-treaters knocking on our doors, all pretending to be witches, zombies, ghosts, or other things. In today's tale, someone is in for a frightful surprise, which they may not survive. Episode 39, Dark Rites, by G. Allen Wilbanks. Arthur heard the chanting and moved to investigate. The sound echoed crazily through the trees, making it difficult to pinpoint exactly which direction it came from. But after a few false starts, he found the correct trail. The rhythmic singing grew louder, and he spotted the flickering light of a fire in the distance, confirming he had found the right location. Rumors of a group of witches that gathered in the woods abounded in town. He had heard them since he was a child. They were said to come together every Halloween night, follow their dark rites, and to perform a sacrifice to ensure the protection of the coven for another year. The stories he heard claimed that several people had attempted to find the witches in their secret clearing over the decades, but none of the explorers ever found their way back home. Arthur did not believe this part of the tale. He figured if no one ever survived the trip, where had all the stories come from? Someone had to have lived long enough to come back and spread the word. With his thoughts to comfort him, he crept closer to the source of the firelight. The chanting continued to grow louder, but though Arthur strained to make sense of the words, he understood none of it. They were not speaking English or any other language he immediately recognized. Perhaps the words were something ancient and long forgotten, a dialect of power used centuries ago to call their dark lord to their aid. Close enough now to see the movement of shadows around the fire, Arthur crept forward more carefully. He did not want to be discovered before he had the opportunity to witness what they were doing. He removed his phone from his shirt pocket and thumbed the screen to camera. No one back home was going to believe he had been here unless he showed them proof. A crow shrieked from a branch high overhead. Arthur flinched and dropped to his knees, hoping the noise from the bird would not attract any attention. Unfortunately, the chanting in the clearing paused. He looked up to see a large black bird staring down at him. It cocked its head and peered at the intruder in its territory with one round black eye. Arthur flapped a hand at the crow, encouraging it to fly away. Instead, the crow screamed again. Arthur heard voices and sound of footsteps moving in his direction from the clearing. He glanced up at the crow. "This is your fault," he whispered. The crow hopped from perch to a lower branch, still watching Arthur where he knelt on the ground. Leaning forward, it opened its beak wide. "They don't like to be watched," it hissed. The end. Today's quick writing tip. We all need to plan a little bit better for the present and future. As for myself and family, we're moving to Florida, and the move is taking longer than I planned. The end result is that I need to focus my time on family matters and the big move. So I hope you all understand that this is why this November and December I'm taking some time off from my podcast until we get resituated in Florida. I am looking forward to restarting my podcast with all new episodes in January 2020, if not sooner. Thank you very much for listening or watching my podcasts. Please look for our 2019 anthology on Amazon in January 2020. Have a happy Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas, and look out for those real night terrors which make you scream. I hope this writing tip helps you. Okay, that's a wrap. Thank you for listening to this episode of the ShortStoryPodcast.com. So you don't miss out on an episode, please take a moment to subscribe to the show and nice review so you know when we restart our episodes in January 2020. Thank you for listening and have a great day.
That was a fun read.